Your father was captain of a starship for 12 minutes.
He saved 800 lives, including yours.
I dare you to do better. Enlist in Starfleet.
Well, to me, the original series was always, about the complexity and uniformity of the characters on the Enterprise. So to that degree, I think this movie is a complete nod to its roots.
The homage is paid in dozens and dozens of ways to the original series. It's enthusiasm, it's optimism, humor, and the story is really, really strong. Like, the old stories had these classical themes, and so does this. Maybe the biggest responsibility that I had was finding the actors who have to take on this sizable burden of taking on these iconic characters. I thought casting Spock would be sort of the hardest because there was a quality I thought, well, how are we going to find someone who's going to do that? And Zachary Quinto was the first person we cast. He walked in, and it was just eerie how perfect he was born to play this part.
How did you manage to beam aboard this ship?
You're the genius, you figure it out.
As acting captain of this vessel, I order you to answer the question.
Well, I'm not telling, acting captain.
It was Kirk that was so hard. Like, literally finding Kirk was such a challenge. And Chris Pine was the last person we cast, and he came in and just had, the confidence, the intelligence, the looks, but more importantly, the wit. He was so funny. And I just knew that was what we needed, because we didn't want anyone doing an impersonation of the original actors.
If you don't tell me your name, I'm going to have to make one up.
It's Uhura.
Uhura? No way. That's the name I was going to make up for you.
You can't move something forward without honoring its origins, but at that same time, you really need to have a different point of view and a different perspective, because it's a different time, it's a different story, it's a different iteration of where these characters are in their experiences, and I think it's essential to bring some of yourself as an actor into everything you do.
I think that's what was exciting about the project, is that I could really relate to this young kid that I saw in the beginning of the movie.
My name is James Tiberius Kirk.
I could relate to that energy. I could relate to that conflict and sense of anger. And I think that as accessible as this character was to me, I felt that maybe I could make him as accessible to a new community of fans.
I'm impressed.
There was a little bit of pressure. It's the very first time I was presented with the situation where I had to play a character that had been done before for 40-somewhat years by such a classy and gracious woman like Nichelle Nichols. And I was so afraid of taking that pressure so early on in my career. But at the same time, too, even though I wasn't a Trekkie, I knew of the beautiful characters that lived in this series, and it would have been completely, I would have hated myself had I walked away from that.
I'm a long-term fan of the original series, so yeah. So, I have had sort of a deep appreciation and respect for the work that Mr. Kelly did, and, I kind of approached the role wanting to see some semblance of continuity to an older Leonard McCoy with the younger version that I play, and that was very sort of the trick.
I don't need a doctor, damn it, I am a doctor.
You need to get back to your seat.
I had one in the bathroom with no windows. I suffer from aviophobia. It means fear of dying.
Sir, for your own safety, sit down, or else I'll make you sit down.
I may throw up on you.
I hope that they go see the movie, and whatever problems they have with the movie, I hope that they sense that we made it with a good heart.
Once they see the film, there's so much respect that we pay to the original series, and at the same time, there's a whole process of rejuvenation that is occurring in order to keep that series that they sort of have loved for 40 years alive.
So what kind of combat training do you have?
Fencing.
JJ's vision really walks that kind of fine line between keeping what was great about the original and bringing something new and kind of fresh to it.
1. Remember, the Enterprise won't be able to beam you back until you turn off that drill.
Good luck.